Hey everybody, welcome back to Champion Sons and our college football 25 dynasty as we are picking up where we left off following a disappointing loss. Now, we saw the journey of Coach Champion with Penn State, so we know that, hey, we are moving on after that Rose Bowl defeat to Kentucky. Looking the way the rest of the playoff shaped out, we have to watch Big Ten opponent go for the Natty. Now, while I say that, welcome back to the channel if you are returning, and if you're new here, welcome to Champion Sons. So, Oregon versus Kansas State was the national championship game. Kansas State did end up taking that one. Kind of a shocker there, to be honest with you. But that leads to a disappointing end to the season, but now we have new beginnings. Here we are with Florida State, our new team, the Seminoles. We've gone down south. And I noticed we have some people wanted to transfer out, and it seems like no matter what we do, they're trying to. The convincing is just not cutting it. Even on someone that we have a high probability to persuade to stay, he still leaves. We get one. We got Corbin Hearns, left tackle. He's at a 71 overall, not the top, but hey, I'll take having one stay. Darren Connor, projected first-round draft pick. I can't blame him for leaving. So, it is what it is in that sense, right? So here's the biggest problem when you take over a new team. The recruiting. These are not my recruits. In reality, I mean, there's a couple 4-stars in there. And I understand, Florida State, we went 8-5 last season as the Seminoles. I get that. And 4-4 in the ACC. But I think they still should have been able to just reach for some guys based off their brand alone, but that did not happen. So we run into this problem where they have a bunch of recruits added on here. A lot of them that I don't really think are up to par. At least not with what we need to kind of start building a team. I know it's one of those, I don't know exactly what we have right now just because we haven't played with them yet. But I know that what I'm seeing here on the board isn't good enough. So we are going to go through and have a couple steps here to begin this transfer portal time. Let's get rid of some of those guys so we cut some of them out. So we don't need to have 35 recruits. We're probably not going to land that many of them anyways. So let's be a little bit more tactful with those that we do have available. Right? We had 1,200 recruiting points coming into this week one. Knowing that we've got to, one, spread it out amongst the guys that we are already on the board that we want to actually keep versus some of the transfer guys that we want to try to bring in, right? That's going to be kind of the biggest key is trying to figure out, one, who are we keeping? And you've already seen me get rid of a few of them. And some of these other guys, I'm fairly confident. I know that, one, we probably can't get a whole lot better than them. And some of them, it's just, let's get some depth in. I've got to accept where we are as a program, that we're coming into this. So right now, looking at it, we got the top 2 transfers that we have recommended for us, coming off as a defensive back and a center. Do we need a center? No, we don't really need one. But, he's one of the top guys. He's number 12 ranked individual. If we can nab him up, then let's take him. Right? No 5-star prospects in the transfer portal. That's interesting. The EA probably should definitely look at that when it comes to the next game and how that transfer portal works because, one, there should be a hell of a lot more, and there should be a lot more talent available out there. But either way, minor detail. Let's take a look at these recruits. Lyle Massey. He's got a lot of talent as far as being a corner. He's someone that I think could come up. He's just a sophomore, so we would have a couple years of eligibility for him. So I definitely want to try to get him in. And then Trevante Browning, once again, another sophomore. Pass block, 95. Pass block power, lead block, 93. The kid's got talent. So we will definitely get him a scholarship offered. I need to get his visit scheduled. And really, these guys like this are the ones we need to offer the max points to. We're coming into this thing as transfers, I think, generally make their decision a lot quicker than the regular recruits do. But it's one of these. I truly do think we need to hammer the points in whenever we can on some of these guys, and I know the downside to that is we're going to lose points for other players that may be able to build depth, that may be able to help the team on down the road in the future, versus seeing the immediate impact of the now. And I get all that, but I need the now. When you come into a new job, you're not coming into this job to basically struggle for a couple seasons, justify it from what happened with the previous coaching staff, and then start to take off once you get your guys in. No, you got to have some immediate impact, and that's what we definitely need to look at. 8-5 in the first season is not going to be good enough for us. So some of these players I definitely need to make sure to nab up when we can. Get visits scheduled for them early on. And really the recruiting is, I've got to figure out what their three main factors are. Yeah, I can do the sway and probably snag one that normally wasn't part of their top three and make it that way. But I need to at least figure out what their top three is if we don't already know. So guys like Wade Freeman, I do already know, but we're in the top 5, so I'm not going to hard sell them just yet. I think once we put in a full load of recruiting on them, if we're still like in second place and we've made it to the next round, then yeah, let's obviously go the hard sell route, just so that way we can go ahead and get some of these guys put in there and try to get them nabbed up. Same thing with Reggie Missouri. He's labeled as an athlete, but I think he's obviously going to be more of a wide receiver, type. It's just needing to try to get him on and really get him developed up. He's going to take a little time. He's a 3-star. He's 93rd ranked in his position, so not the top guy, but pretty good talent that I think we can use. And after this first week, I mean, we're starting to see some improvement here. I hate that we're in second place as we kind of cut down on some of them. And I guess it actually does work out. Diego Dove going to Middle Tennessee over Florida State, I guess. I don't know how often that would happen in real life, but I guess it does. It's gotta happen at some point, right? But I know, like I said, we're going to have to cut out some of them. But like guys like this, once we get into that top 3, and then it is going to be time. I have the 3 check marks. We're going to do the hard sell on them and really just try to fit it in with what we can. If none of these fit, then I would say do the sway to get that additional one. But Hometown Hero fits these guys a lot. Sandersville, Georgia, though, I'm not sure how Hometown Hero truly fits for him. But hey, the game says it does. It does. I'm not going to argue with it. The one thing I will say that I prefer about the recruiting here during the offseason versus, once you get into the season, but the transfer portal era time, is your recruiting points generally, I wouldn't say regenerate, but kind of add back in every week, which is good to see because it allows us to really hit hard some of these recruits. Like Trevante Browning, we moved into first for him. So we're going to go ahead and kind of adjust their points around. But we can only do that because our points regenerated. We went from almost 0 to 600 hours, give or take. Now that we've spent some, we're obviously going down. We're at 490 left. But I need to be able to get these things, get visits scheduled and all that. So I like how the recruiting does work during this portion of it. Like I said, I do wish there was more talent in the transfer portal. However, we'll take what we can get. Storm Pinter. Some of these AI-generated names they had are pretty damn funny, I will admit. We made it to a top 3 for him. We're second. We haven't ever really applied points to him. So I'm going to hit a hard sell. I don't know if we can snag him up. Being in second, not really doing much other point-wise with him. It's going to be kind of difficult to close in on that gap. But it's worth a shot is what I'm going to say, right? It was the old college try. The old college effort is what you kind of got to give it. So that's what we do. DeAndre Harmon, he's a 2-star power rusher. I mean, once again, he's not. This is probably a guy who's not going to see the field all that much. I mean, let's be honest here. unless he becomes just some amazing development recruit who in about 3 seasons you just see him shoot up into like the mid-high 80s as far as his overall. He'll probably never see the field outside of maybe mop-up duty in a big game. So we do have to have depth. I get that. But it needs to be quality depth. Y'all have heard me mention this before. So that's one of the biggest things that I will look at when it comes to these recruits is not just I understand we need the depth, but we need quality depth. And that's where, we got to be a little bit more skillful as far as our recruiting goes. Especially coming into a new program that's, 8-5, I'm not going to say they're down, but they did fire their coach. Their coach didn't do good enough, and they didn't perform well enough. So, yeah, we can't get top-of-the-line recruits. It's going to be a little difficult. So we got to be, like I said, smart about it. Go for the guys that we can go for. Try to get the guys that we can get. And let's try to make something happen here with this program to start to see the turnaround occur, right? And for me, I don't always go off what is labeled as a need. Yeah, I try to, just because, if it's a need, it's probably because you got guys that are leaving. Guys in that position that are going to be leaving. So you try to fill that in. Ooh, Trevante Skaggs, Reggie Missouri, Lyle Massey. Ooh, I'm glad we got Massey, 4-star corner. The kid's got talent. I think will be playing easily within his first year. Like I said, he's a transfer sophomore, so we got him for a few seasons. He'll definitely have an impact. Now, Harmon, we lost to Rutgers, and Pinter, we lost to North Carolina. Falk, we lose to Florida. I'll say this. The one downside to this time period is end up losing a lot to in-state, in-conference foes right now. Like, if you want to go to Rutgers, okay, fine. Whatever. Big Ten school. You're an idiot. I don't care. But now you're going to North Carolina. You're going to Florida. Within our state, that's a slap in my face. You ain't even really giving me a shot to be at the school yet, and you're already going to just bail. Just go to a different school. I don't like it when they do that. They prove to be useless to me, and apparently I'm useless to them. Either way, we'll settle it on the football field when the time comes at that point. Wade Freeman, 3-star defensive back. Here we come with the hard pitch in the top 3, almost to the end. It may be a little too late. I don't want to believe it is. We might be able to come back on and get him in the end. It is kind of a delicate balance when you're battling for 1 or 2 of once you hit that top 3. At what point do you go for the hard sell? How determined is the individual already? So, take a look at Ibarra. We're first on him. It's almost all the way to the end. It's one of those, we're going to hard sell him, but I'm pretty sure I could probably get by without the hard sell for him. I don't want to risk it because I need to get some guys in here that are these 3-star guys. Like Wade Freeman, we're second, but we're in the top 3, it's fairly well through it. It's just how much of an impact is it really going to have versus some of the opponents that we're going up against. And that's going to be the hard part. And right now, we have 25 scholarships offered on the board. So obviously not all these guys have accepted. I get that. But I want to make sure to get as many of them as we can. Now, this kicker, you see me doing this for, going on the hard sell, I'm not even in the top 3. That is because we are second, and his other choice is a rival. His other choice is like Miami. I want to grab them up from them just to say we got them over Miami. That's it. That is pure pettiness. Nothing more to it than that. That's my main motivation for trying to go for him. I don't know if we'll be able to get him. Just being a kicker, what is he really going to care about picking Miami or us in the grand scheme of things? Is he going to say, you don't kick enough field goals, they kick more field goals? I guess they could. Not sure I believe that's how it would really go. But they could. I'm just trying to get him because I don't want Miami to have him. That's really about it. And in fact, if they were smart, that Miami would start recruiting more players just to force me into going to get them. Just so they couldn't have them. Just start recruiting the guys you don't want. I'll clean up that mess, and then they can get the guys they do want. So, it is what it is. Here we're trying to fill in some spots. Once again, these aren't positions of need to completely. It's just one big need is depth. Maybe we do have enough guys at the position, but maybe we don't have enough good guys at the position. And I want my good guys at the position. So, and it does hurt. I hate being a team like Florida State having to go after 2-star guys. I truly do. It cuts me deep in doing that. Now, one good thing here is we've got so many points at this time, 1,200 recruiting points for this week, that we can actually start to spend some recruiting points on these guys. But like this, Cesar Enriquez, a 2-star free safety. I mean, he's out of Duncanville, Texas, so it'd be nice to get a player from Texas, so that way, people like the Longhorns couldn't have him and all that. But he's a 2-star. They're not going to go after him. We are, though, as well we did. And Matthew Lilly was almost about to pick us as a 2-star, but we said, no, sir, no thank you, don't need you. Adios. Let's go ahead and remove him, and we have added in some of these guys, so let's get the points put in. Right, Stepnoski is another kicker. I want to try to go over him just because I know eventually I'm going to need a kicker. If I could redshirt him, great. But he doesn't have any interest in us right now, and that's okay. We'll deal with it as we go. But that's the only reason why I added another kicker on the board. Now, Cortland Zietler, a physical wide receiver out of Baton Rouge, he's got a lot of capability. I don't think it's going to be a immediate impact. He said he is a sophomore coming out of JUCO, so he's going to have time to develop. Anthony Gumbs, a quarterback, 83 throw power. He's more of a field general guy. 76 medium accuracy. That's kind of bothersome to me. I do wish it was higher. While that can develop, I don't know how fast it's going to develop, right? And, we got this first season that's not our guys for the most part. Season number 1, definitely not our guys. And so this first season is going to be what it is. We can look to bring in getting these recruits in that have added on the guys we're going to recruit during the season. Those are going to be our guys. That's where I think we're going to start to make our bones and try to build this program up, get back to what it used to be from the 90s with the Bobby Bowden days. I wouldn't say Jimbo Fisher days because we saw what his legacy has gone as a coach so far. But picking up some of these recruits, finally Trevante Browning, 4-star center comes. Like I said, he may not be a starter, but he's young enough. He'll definitely see the field for us in protecting our quarterback. Oh, we lost Elfine to the Hurricanes. And it lost Enriquez to that said New Mexico to the Lobos. Oh, that's disappointing. Very disappointed in that kid. The guy going for Miami, once again, whatever. He's a kicker. Who cares? I don't really need one right now. I just try to be petty to get him, and man, did it backfire on me. But it is what it is. Now, filling out our roster, Earl Alford, cornerback, adding in the points. Top 3, we're second. We're going to go the hard sell. Maybe we do. Anthony Gumbs, this is not the greatest quarterback in the world. And so I do want to bring him in just so we can have guys in there. But I think we're going to have better talent available eventually over what he brings to the table. You know what I mean? So, keeping that in mind. Looking at some of these other recruits. Johnson, I haven't put a whole lot of points into him. However, we have made it to the top 3 for him, so I'm going to hit him with the hard sell. One, if anything, give me some points back if he can commit, and maybe go after some other guys and just fill up the roster. But I don't like this board coming in without having looked at a lot of the team setup. But we're filling it out the best we can, right? We are definitely trying to just add depth where we can get depth. That's kind of our biggest spot here to do with this round of recruiting. So coming up to the end of this week, let's see, who do we got coming? Darren Casper. Greg Johnson commits. Charles Tunyon, the tight end. Nolan Kumar, halfback. Got it. Cortland Zietler, I'm glad to get him. Anthony Gums, good kid. And so we got a pretty good talented group. Now, to see where we fell in as a recruiting class, number 24, no 5 stars, 5 4 stars, 15-3, and 3-2. That's not where we need to be. We want to be that top of the line school. We definitely got to improve our recruiting stats, and next season we definitely need to be better than number 24 in the country. All right, so let's get ready for this next fun season. Now, looking at our schedule, we have to play Florida as one of the non-conference games, so I'm not going to change that. So that gives us 2 games to schedule at the beginning of the year. I want one to be a difficult one, another one to kind of be a, hey, let's see what we got, kind of decent game. You know, I'm not going to say a blowout. All right, fine, a blowout game. That's what I know I railed against that at Penn State, but that's how I want it to be done for right now, at least, with Florida State. So San Jose State's going to be our first team on board. The second team, this is more of a personal grudge. Our guy's alma mater, Bubba's alma mater, is the Texas Longhorns. He's been a great coach, but at no point has Texas ever offered him a head coaching job. They've offered him offensive coordinator, and I think even defensive coordinator, but never once a head coaching job. They fired their coach this last season, and they didn't even offer us. So we're going to put them on our calendar. I'm pissed. They are my favorite team in real life. They are Bubba's alma mater, but I am pissed, and we're going to take it to the Horns in Austin as we schedule them for the second game of the season. And then looking up, we have our conference play, followed by Miami, or followed by Florida at the very end. So it goes the first 2 games bye week, and then 10 straight. It's a little hectic, a little 10 straight hectic schedule right there, but I think it's a decent enough schedule, and so that is what we're going to roll with. Now here's where the fun part truly begins. All right, this is our recruiting. These are our guys we're going to want to bring in. And yeah, I'm going to go after some 5-star recruits, okay? I understand they're not all going to want to come to my school. I understand that. But we're going to have to look to add in a few of them, those 5 stars. We've got to start doing that. We can't just sit back and hope that they come to us. We got to go to them. So we hit up the 5 stars and really the 4 stars. I want to try to avoid as many 3 stars as possible until we absolutely have to truly start filling up a recruiting board. I prefer to, let's try to get some of these better guys. Let's not settle for the lower talent whenever for us to build in the conference we're in, facing off against Miami, against your NC States, against North Carolinas, Virginia Tech. We're going to have better talent to really take this conference by storm. So that's what we do look at. Now here, it's always misleading if you look at the upper right corner, the number of points or hours we have available. I hate how they do this because I can only scout them and then offer a scholarship. I want to be able to add my recruit points now. Let's start getting them recruited. I hate the fact it makes us wait till the first week. And even by that point that you do wait for the first week, your hours are no longer 1,000 hours. I'll probably be cut down to 800. Which, fine. If you're going to do that, fine. But let me do my damn recruiting and get my points going and started. It will just help it out, make life more simpler for us. I might not have to drop so many guys off our board as we do. But it just means we're going to have to be more tactical until we get our recruiting hours built back up. Which you would think we'd have more being a 4-star program, 4.5-star program. You'd think we'd be more, but we're not. We don't have more, so we got to be very strategic with it. And I know a lot of these guys that I'm scouting are probably not going to stick the roster all the way through. I understand that, but it's something we got to do. Now, Curtis Manningham, a quarterback gym, 91 throw power, 82 deep accuracy. Now I like seeing that. He's got decent speed. He's an improviser, which is interesting. So he can do, which means he can probably run the option, but he can throw the ball and scramble. That's kind of a all-around kind of quarterback. I like seeing that from him. He's definitely going to be an interesting recruit. Hopefully we can get him landed. It's time will tell on that. J.J. Braham, 83 power moves, 79 tackle, 83 pursuit. That's what I like seeing out of my outside linebackers, right? I get pass coverage. You'll want it to be a little higher than normal, which it was. But seeing that pursuit is a big deal. Definitely a big deal. Ooh, look at the next one. 4-star, another gym. Cordell Dixon, 99 speed, 82 man coverage. 6'2". Now he's only 179 pounds, so I'm not sure tackling is going to be a strong suit or taking on a 250-pound linebacker. But my God, the kid's got speed. 99. I mean, you're talking about someone who can do more than just be a defensive back at that point. We're talking punt returner, kick returner. And he's got capability to have impacts. I can definitely say that. Julius Aragon. Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty decent corner. He is no Dixon, that's for sure. But he's pretty decent and definitely someone we need to bring in. Ramon Pena, defensive end. Overall, fairly decent stats. A little bit lower than what I would expect for a 5-star, but overall decent enough. Roland Gossett, defensive tackle, 82 tackle. 65 awareness is a little low. 88 strength, though, 78 speed. The awareness rating, I prefer it to be a little higher up, obviously. But I can't take too much into account. I mean, one, these are all some of the high school kids. We will be watching them develop. We'll see how things kind of go with them as we do kind of get moving on. Now, we've only used a few hundred points as we come into Johnny Bridge out of the 1,000. Once again, I know I want to limit what I truly do here because we have to actually recruit these guys going into week 1. And like I said, I'm not going to have 1,000 points. I know that, or 1,000 hours. I know that already, so I got to be smart about it. We do offer those guys scholarships, which gives us 12 on the board. And here we come into the week 1. We do have the bye, so no game here. But taking a look at this recruiting, here's where we can start to add points. I just wanted to see where I made some movement on, and a lot of these guys we have. So obviously Jabari Block, free safety, 5-star. He is going to be an all-out guy. Same thing, Anthony Nunn, wide receiver, another all-out, let's go, heavy recruiting style of player. Corbin McKenzie on the offensive line, big-time game breaker. Once again, I'm filling out all those points for these top dudes that we need that I think can be big-time game breakers for us. Obviously not this, but the next season and probably for at least the next 4 years. That's what I got to look at. Curtis Manningham, he's a quarterback that's got that capability, the improviser. He's got a hell of an arm. He's accurate. And I think, he could easily become a starter moving forward. I don't know if it'd be his freshman year or his sophomore year. If we redshirt him, I guess, his redshirt freshman year. But he's got definite capability for us. Now, I want y'all to notice something. We have 12 recruits. We're on number 7. We've already used over half of our recruiting points. And that's what I was talking about. Got to be a little bit careful with it. But at this point, I'm fine with selling out for those that I really do want. Like Cordell Dixon. You got to go the maximum for some of these guys. Aragon, we're still first. Like I said, his stats were decent. I wish they could have been better. But he's someone that can definitely make an impact. So we do go ahead and put a lot of points onto him. Now, Pena is going to be a 5-star defensive end. I got to be smart about that. But we're only third. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get him. I'm going to see what we do with bare minimum recruiting. If we continue to drop, he's out, obviously. So we're going to put 15 points on him and Gossett. It should be interesting to see how that stuff kind of shapes out as we get ready for this new season. And then actually this new season is going to be starting in this next episode. as we see kind of the impact of what our recruiting has done so far. But in the next episode, we will get started. I think we're going to go back to our 2-game per episode setup, and it should be a fun one. Now, definitely hit the subscribe button if you have not hit that already, and definitely give us a thumbs up as well if you did enjoy today's video and you're excited about the college football playoffs and bowl season going on. And remember to hit that little bell icon so you can be notified of all of our uploads, whether it's this series, South Texas Big River University Team Builder, or anything else we got going on the channel. But until then, everybody, I will see y'all in the next episode. So as always, stay safe, and well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.